We live in a world where people are addicted to comfort. They want the shortcut. They want the motivation video, the hype playlist, the smooth path to success. But I'm here to tell you, motivation dies. And when it does, discipline is the only thing left standing. Discipline is waking up when your body says, stay in bed. It's going to the gym when your mind says, skip today. It's pushing forward when everything inside of you is screaming to quit. You want to change your life? Don't wait on motivation. Build discipline. Live it, breathe it, become it. Now let me break this down for you. Discipline doesn't start when life is easy. It shows up when everything falls apart. When you've been knocked down so many times, you forget what it feels like to stand. That's when you find out who you really are. You think greatness is born in comfort? No. Greatness is forged in fire. It's built in those dark, quiet moments when you decide to rise, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. Let me ask you, who are you when things get hard? Who are you when you don't feel like it? Because that's the version of you that determines how far you go. The truth is, discipline is lonely. It requires you to say no to instant gratification. It forces you to turn your back on distractions. And it demands consistency, not once in a while, every single day. But here's the secret nobody talks about. Discipline will set you free. Yeah, freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from doing what you must, over and over again, until it becomes who you are. Discipline isn't a punishment. It's the ultimate form of self-respect. It's telling the world, I will not be broken. I will not be average. I will not waste this life. You want confidence? Show up for yourself. You want results? Keep your promises. You want purpose? Get uncomfortable. Stay uncomfortable. This world is noisy. It's full of people telling you who you should be, what you should chase, how you should live. But discipline, it quiets that noise. It brings you back to your why. It keeps your feet planted when the storm comes. Let me be straight with you. You will not always feel like it. You will feel tired, weak, defeated. But you don't need to feel strong to act strong. And you sure as hell don't need permission to show up. So stop negotiating with your excuses. Stop telling yourself stories about why today isn't the day. And for once in your life, follow through. Because if you want to be uncommon, if you want to be unbreakable, you've got to earn it. Not once, not when it's convenient. Every single day. This is not a game. This is your life. And discipline? Discipline is the bridge between the life you have and the life you want. You think you're tired now? Try living a life full of regrets. You think it's hard now? Try explaining to your future self why you gave up. Pain is temporary, but quitting is forever. So today, not tomorrow, not next week, today, you make a choice to rise, to commit, to become the kind of person who doesn't need a reminder, because they are the reminder. Discipline isn't a tool, it's your identity. And when you become that person, no one can take it from you. Stay hard, stay focused, stay disciplined. 1. Discipline is doing it when you don't feel like it. Let's get something straight right now. If you only do things when you feel like doing them, you'll never get anywhere in life. You'll stay average. You'll stay stuck. You'll stay a prisoner to your own emotions, and your life will be nothing but a cycle of excuses and half-finished attempts. Discipline is about rising when you don't feel like rising. It's doing the hard work when you're tired, angry, sad, uninspired, or dead broke. It's getting out of bed when your body wants comfort, and instead of feeding yourself lies like, Just 5 more minutes, you say, no, I've got work to do. The world won't wait for you to get motivated. The world doesn't care how you feel. Life doesn't give out trophies for good intentions, only for execution. And execution doesn't ask for your feelings. It demands your consistency. See, everyone wants to feel good before they act, but high performers, those few who break through, who go to war with their weakness every single day, they flip that script. They act first. The feeling comes later. Let's break it down. You go to the gym when you're sore, not just when you're fresh. You study when you're exhausted, not just when you're in the zone. You show up for yourself even when life has knocked you flat on your back. That's what separates winners from talkers. You think Navy SEALs wait until they're in the mood to train? You think people climbing out of poverty waited until they felt motivated to hustle? You think survivors of trauma waited for inspiration to push forward? No. They did it with tears in their eyes, with fatigue in their bones, with fear in their chest. But they did it. Discipline is your weapon. It's the voice inside that says, get up, keep going, no matter what. And you won't always win the internal war. There'll be days you fall short, but the ones who transform their lives are the ones who fight that war daily. They don't wait on motivation. They become their own source of it. Here's something no one tells you. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But the less you use it, the weaker your resolve becomes. Every time you listen to that inner excuse, you chip away at your strength. But every time you follow through, even in the smallest way, even when it's brushing your teeth when you're exhausted or making your bed when you're in a rush, you build mental armor. Start there. You want to become unshakable? Then stop waiting for perfect conditions. The battlefield of life isn't perfect. It's messy, it's ugly, it's unpredictable. But you still show up. That's what discipline is. Showing up when it's hard. We're not talking about some motivational poster quote here. We're talking about rewiring the way you think, the way you act, and how you define yourself. Because when you act despite discomfort, you begin to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you build momentum. And that momentum turns into confidence. And that confidence becomes identity. Your identity isn't what you say you are. It's what you consistently do. So, if you want to be known as someone disciplined, then act disciplined. Even if it's hard, even if it's inconvenient, even if no one is watching. Because real greatness, it's built in silence. And here's the truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to drag you to your potential. It's on you. Your future self is watching you right now, hoping you don't quit again. Hoping you'll stop lying to yourself. Hoping you'll finally decide that who you could be is more important than who you are comfortable being. Discipline is the difference between dreaming and doing. Between talking and becoming. Between wishing and winning. So stop looking for the perfect moment. Create it. Discipline is not a mood. It's a decision, repeated daily, especially when it's hard. Keynote 2. Discipline is choosing your future. Over your feelings, every time you wake up, you're standing at a crossroads. On one side is comfort. On the other side is growth. And the bridge that takes you from where you are to where you want to be? That bridge is called discipline. The problem is, most people choose their feelings. They say things like, I'm not in the mood, or I'll do it tomorrow, or it's too hard. They give their emotions more power than their vision, and they wonder why they're stuck. Let's be real. Feelings are liars. They're temporary, they're unstable, and they will betray you. You feel like sleeping in, but your goals don't care. You feel like quitting, but your dream is still waiting. You feel like taking the easy road, but success lives on the hard one. Discipline is about locking into the long game. It's about choosing delayed gratification over the dopamine hit. Because the truth is, success doesn't come from one massive leap. It comes from thousands of micro decisions stacked on top of each other. And the only way to win those moments is through discipline. When your alarm goes off, you don't negotiate. When you're faced with temptation, you don't entertain it. When you hit a wall, you don't retreat. You climb, or you break it down. Either way, you don't stop. Every time you choose discipline, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. You cast a vote for the future you're building. And over time, those votes add up. They build a new identity, one that's based on resilience, not excuses. Most people live in a loop of impulse and regret. They make a choice based on how they feel in the moment, and then they live with the consequences. Discipline flips that script. It says, I choose pain now, so I don't suffer later. I choose effort now, so I don't drown in regret. Let me make this plain. Discipline is an act of love for your future self. It's saying, I'm willing to be uncomfortable now so I can be free later. You want freedom? Then embrace the price. Because there's a price to everything. You either pay with discipline or you pay with disappointment. That's the truth nobody wants to hear. You'll either feel the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. You choose. Now, the world will try to sell you easy paths. They'll tell you shortcuts are the way. They'll promise you instant results. But don't be fooled. Discipline is the only path that leads to peace, because when you know you're doing the work, when you know you're showing up regardless of how you feel, that's when you sleep well at night. That's when the anxiety fades. That's when you finally feel proud of the person staring back at you in the mirror. Discipline is peace earned through struggle. So when your feelings scream, stop, you whisper back, watch me. When your body begs for rest, you respond, not yet. When life throws chaos your way, you anchor down and say, I've been built for this. This isn't just mindset. It's muscle. It's training. It's repetition. It's knowing that every time you choose your future over your feelings, you're stacking bricks, building a life no storm can destroy. That's what this is about. Your feelings are fleeting. But your mission? That's permanent. Choose discipline. 3. Discipline is being brutally honest. With yourself, you can't build discipline on lies. You just can't. Because every time you lie to yourself, every time you sugarcoat the truth, every time you hide from your failures, every time you say, it's okay, I tried. When you know you didn't give it your all, you're stacking bricks of weakness. You're constructing a foundation that will crack the moment life gets hard. Let's stop pretending. If you want to change your life, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You've got to look in the mirror and confront the version of you that's full of excuses, laziness, and comfort. That's not weakness, that's courage. You can't conquer what you won't confront. You can't grow from what you're afraid to admit. This is what separates the disciplined from the disappointed. Discipline doesn't come from hype. It comes from accountability. And accountability starts with truth. Let's get real. You didn't fail because the world is against you. You failed because you stopped showing up. You didn't stay stuck because you had no opportunity. You stayed stuck because you didn't use the opportunities you had. You didn't miss your goals because life is unfair. You missed them because you played small and waited for permission to go all in. The truth will hurt. But it will also heal. Because when you stop lying to yourself, you finally gain power over your actions. When you call yourself out, you create a space for change. And in that space, discipline is born. Think about it like this. When an athlete watches game tape, they don't fast forward through the mistakes. They study them. They analyze them. They say, I can't let that happen again. That's what you need to do with your life. What are your patterns? Where do you fall off? What are your excuses? Track them, own them, attack them. See, a lot of people say they want to be great, but they live in denial. They pretend they're doing more than they are. They hype up their effort when deep down they know they're coasting. That's not discipline. That's delusion. Discipline is being able to say, I didn't give it my all today, and that's on me. I'm better than this. I said I'd wake up early and I didn't. That's a lie I told myself. I won't repeat it. I let comfort win. I broke my promise. That ends now. This level of self-honesty is rare because it hurts. It shatters the ego. It exposes weakness. But it's the only way you grow. Discipline demands self-respect. And self-respect comes from doing what you said you'd do, not for anyone else, but for you. You want to develop that kind of respect? Then stop making excuses. Start holding yourself to a higher standard. Treat your word like a contract. When you say you'll do something, follow through. No explanations, no loopholes, just execution. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. You're not always going to feel like it. And if you let yourself off the hook every time things get hard, you'll never become who you were meant to be. So don't just chase motivation. Chase truth, and when you do mess up, and you will, don't coddle yourself. Learn, adjust, push forward. Because the discipline don't need perfect days. They just need honest ones. Keynote 4. Discipline is mastering the boring stuff, everybody. Loves the highlight reel, the big wins, the breakthroughs, the six-pack abs, the bank account screenshots, the glow-up photos. But what nobody wants to talk about, what separates the real warriors from the wannabes, is this. Discipline is born in boredom. It's forged in the mundane, in the grind, in the repetition. It's in the small, unglamorous choices you make. Every single day when no one is clapping for you, let's talk about that. See, success doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. And consistency means doing the same thing over and over, long after the excitement is gone. It means showing up even when the task feels dull. It means executing your process whether or not you're in the mood. You don't get fit from one perfect workout. You get fit from showing up for 300 average ones. You don't build wealth from one great investment. You build it by budgeting, saving, and making disciplined choices daily. You don't master a craft because you had a flash of inspiration. You master it because you practiced relentlessly, when it was hard, when it was slow, and when it felt like you weren't making progress. Discipline is a system, not a spark. And here's what most people get wrong. They expect results too fast. They start something, get hyped, grind for a few weeks, and when the novelty wears off and the results don't come fast enough, they quit. They say, it's not working. No, it is working. You're just not patient enough. You're addicted to dopamine, not progress. The real ones, they fall in love with the process. They build routines so strong they don't need motivation. They don't ask, do I feel like doing this today? They just do it. Because it's what they do. It's who they are. They know that mastery is boring. It's a lot of unsexy work, but that's where greatness lives. In the invisible hours. You want results? Then embrace the repetition. You want freedom? Then show up when it's inconvenient. You want to be elite? Then stop waiting for variety and excitement and get comfortable with doing the same basic things better. Because discipline doesn't mean never failing. It means never quitting on the process. Even the best in the world, the top athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most elite performers, they all have to wrestle with boredom. They all have days where they don't feel like it, but they do it anyway. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs stop when it's boring. Professionals keep going because they know that's where the magic happens. So ask yourself, can you stick with it when it's not exciting anymore? Can you keep showing up when it feels slow, quiet, repetitive? Can you honor your plan even when the rewards are delayed? That's the test, because anyone can show up when it's new. Anyone can push for a few days when the motivation is fresh. But discipline is proven in month 3, in year 2, when nobody's cheering anymore, when the hype has died down, when it's just you, your routine, and your decision. That's where you build grit. So whatever your path is, fitness, business, healing, art, relationships, if you want to win, stop chasing shortcuts. Fall in love with the daily actions. Get obsessed with consistency. Let repetition be your religion. And the next time it feels boring, remind yourself, this is where most people quit, but not me. Discipline is not a punishment. It's not a burden. It is the greatest form of love you can show yourself. Discipline is saying, I believe I'm capable of more, and I'm willing to prove it. I won't keep living on autopilot. I'm not waiting to feel ready. I am ready. You want to change your life? Then you better start showing up like it's a job you're not willing to lose. You better start acting like your future depends on what you do today. Because it does. Discipline is doing the work when the applause has stopped. It's pushing when the world says you've already done enough. It's rising every time you fall because you made a vow to never settle. And I'll tell you what most people won't. Discipline is hard. It will cost you your comfort. It will test your mind. It will break the weak parts of you down until there's nothing left but truth. But that's the point, because discipline doesn't just change your results. It changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a victim. You stop needing motivation to move. You become someone who doesn't just try, you commit. And once that identity takes root, you become dangerous. Not to others, but to every excuse, every limitation, every lie you've ever believed about what you're capable of. That's the kind of power you were born with. That's the kind of strength that's already in you, waiting. And the only way to unlock it is through discipline. So let me leave you with this. There is no magic formula, no secret hack. There's just work, every single day. But if you do it, if you embrace the process, if you show up when it's hard, if you build your life like every brick matters, you won't just change what you have. You will become something unstoppable. Because in a world full of people looking for shortcuts, you chose the long road. In a world of comfort, you chose growth. And in a world that settles, you chose to be great. Now get up. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. And remember, discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. Cross it. And don't look back.